Good evening, and welcome to our October 10th meeting of the Long Branch City Council. We'll now come to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Mr. Vieira?
Here.
Dr. Vogt?
Here.
Dr. Selly?
Here.
Mrs. Wittes?
Here. Please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you. To welcome Mr. Jackson to the city of Long Branch.
Thank you.
We wish you much luck.
Thank you very much, Council President.
Okay, at this time, Mayor Plone will make a presentation.
Sure. If you could come up with me, Council President. Dr. Barabbas and Suzanne, if you could come up. So we're here today. Dr. Barabbas and Suzanne are the owners of the New Jersey Repertory Theater. And many of you may know that a week, what was that, just less than a week ago, there was a week of performance at the new West End Repertory Theater of plays and music and photography. And Council President Wittes and Dr. Selly and myself just felt that we wanted to recognize you for all you've done for our community. They've been downtown on Broadway for over 20 years. They've produced over 125 plays. They've now purchased the West End Repertory Theater, the old West End School, and have like super plans for that in the future. And again, so we just wanted to acknowledge all that you've done for the community and appreciate you being here. Council President Wittes, just read a little of this.
I had the opportunity to go to your place 2 weeks ago. They're awesome. If you ever have a chance to go, please try and make it. They're really great.
And before she does it, I want to say that all of us have visited and are very supportive of everything that you've done. It's just that it was Council President Wittes and Dr. Selly who wanted to make this happen here today.
This is the City of Long Branch proclamation, where the New Jersey Repertory Company is a professional nonprofit theater located at 170 Broadway in Long Branch and is celebrating more than 20 years. And whereas the building was donated to the theater by a young couple, David and Margaret Amelia, who wanted to give their property to a nonprofit organization that they felt would do the most to help revitalize the community and to do the most to help revise the community. And in 20 seasons, New Jersey Rep has produced 123 plays, of which 90 have been world premieres presented to audiences for the first time. The New Jersey Repertory Company has received many outstanding awards. Some of the many awards were from the Edgerton Foundation, New American Plays, the American Theater Critics Association, and the National Theater Company Award. Therefore, it is hereby proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Long Branch that on this 10th day of October, 2018, that this day is known as New Jersey Repertory Day in the City of Long Branch. Thank you so much.
We have our board members here also.
Governor Murphy came in and took a tour of the facility and was really impressed with what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
And the next show starts October 8th. Thank you.
approval of previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of September 26, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. Consideration of ordinances, public hearing and final consideration, there are none this evening. Ordinances for introduction, there also are none. Public participation for resolutions and all agenda comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If anyone in the audience has any comments to make, please step to the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Perone and council members. My name is Anita Clavering. I live on 161 Garrett Drive. I am here tonight to announce that I'm working with Mayor Perone to form a committee to address and advocate on issues of interest to people with disabilities in Long Branch. Among the issues are, for example, how to get more people with disabilities registered to vote, as well as get involved in all aspects of the political process. We would also like to make buildings more accessible, though many buildings have been built and or retrofitted to make them accessible. There are still not enough buildings who have accommodations to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act ADA. There are also parking signs that have the old fines of $100 for the first violation and $100 for subsequent offenses instead of the current penalties of $250 for each violation according to state law, along with community service. I hope to distribute flyers about forming the committee at Long Branch Day this Saturday, October 13th. If any of you would like to join the committee, please let me know after the meeting or this Saturday. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Randy Phillips. I live at 161 Avenel Boulevard, Long Branch, New Jersey. I've been a resident of Long Branch since 1949, having moved here from Georgia at the age of 6. I attended the public schools here in Long Branch, and I was inducted into the Hall of Fame for the football team and was in 1961 the most outstanding player in the city of Long Branch. I was a United States Marine and graduated from Parris Island as Outstanding Marine Corps in 1966. I recently retired 3 years ago. I retired from the Long Branch Housing Authority after almost 25 years of work there, and I must say, outstanding work. On July 25th of this year, resumes had to be in for to serve on the Long Branch Housing Authority as a commissioner, and myself and I believe Bonita Potter and Teresa Dangler applied for the position. And at that time, there was the three of us in here for an interview, and we had the interview which was held by the council and the mayor. Certainly, I believe that you have the right to choose who you want to be on the board, but I think it's when you do things, I think there's a way that you do it. I was talking on the phone with a friend the other day, and the friend happened to mention that. Oh, have you heard? I said, heard what? Well, they've appointed a young lady from Garfield Court, I think, to be on the at board as a commissioner. Is that true? I'm asking the council, is that true, or anyone?
Yes.
That's true?
I'm sorry, did
I-
you give an address?
Do I have an address?
No, did you give an address? I'm not sure of the address, but yes, there was a young woman who was appointed.
Okay. Well, my problem is this. If you interview someone in July and it's now October, I think if you, like I said before, you certainly have the right to choose who you want to be on the board. That's your privilege. However, being a city board, city council, and mayor, and people took the time out to prepare a resume and come in for an interview, I think that, and the people think that they're eminently qualified for the appointee, I think that it's only proper and fitting that you at least send them a letter or a telephone call stating, thank you for your interest in applying for the position, but we've decided to go in a different direction. I think that would only be fitting. That was never done. Every day, including today, before I came here, I looked for a letter in the mail from this body letting me know what had happened. I guess if I had came up here tonight, everything would have just kept going and I would have never known what happened.
Mr. Phillips, just so you know, I believe a letter was sent out. Do you know when it was sent out?
Well, I haven't moved.
Last Friday.
It went out last Friday.
I haven't moved. Today is Wednesday. I didn't get a letter. And I think if a letter did go out, the proper way to do it is before the appointment is made. I don't think you should put it on TV and then send a letter out. I think it's only proper that the person that's involved is informed before the letter goes out. That's the way that I've always done business, and that's the way that I know most people do business. Like I said, you certainly have the right to do what you want. I don't know that it's the right decision, but it's your decision. I don't know the young lady. I hope she does a fine job. If there's anything I can do for her, I would be certainly willing to do it. But I hope this board in the future, going forward, I hope you look at the citizens of this town when we apply for something, when we do something, treat us like citizens. Treat us like taxpayers. I've been a taxpayer in this town for 40 years, and I had to have somebody tell me that somebody was appointed from something they was watching on TV. I don't think that's the proper way to do things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea LaRosa, 119 West End Avenue. I'm here in reference to the memorandum of understanding that the City of Long Branch had with the Monmouth County SPCA in regards to their TNR program. The memorandum was for 100 cats, and we TNR'd 100 cats, or they TNR'd 100 cats, and it was renewed, and we've TNR'd another 100 cats. But we're out of cats. But we're not out of cats, we're out of the memorandum. We have to sign another one. And my understanding is it's not an official line item in the budget, so that might be up for consideration for 2019. But the fee is relatively small, and we're asking that you sign now and continue the program without any hesitation. Any delay in the program sets it back, and there's at least 5 people waiting to have their cats in their area TNR'd right now. So I don't know if there's anything you can do before the budget to get this through.
So maybe Mr. Martin can give a little more information on that. But, you know, when that program came out at the reduced rate, I think you were probably aware of it, we were beyond the budget season, and it wasn't a line item in the budget. Is it correct? So well, go ahead, Mike. And then...
It wasn't specifically budgeted for in the 2018 budget.
Right.
But we do have money in the dog trust fund, the animal control fit. To be honest, I wasn't aware that we were out of the second round. I have no problem approving
Third
the
round.
third round. We're starting the third round? yeah, I have no problem approving that.
Oh, that's
As long
great.
as the mayor's fine with it.
That would be fantastic. Because like I said, as of right now, the official word came down, it's halted because they were not approved as of right now to continue. They were looking for an informal, is it okay to continue? And they were told no.
Yes, so, well, what had happened is Sharon had contacted me, but Sid Johnson had sent me an email prior to that. And as you know, I think it was $3,700 per 100 cats.
Correct.
And then we were hoping that that would carry us through the year. And then, of course, it didn't, so we decided to do a second. And the second, and I guess the funds was taken from the same
Place, yeah.
from the same place. So we'll have to look at it again for the third. But obviously, next year, we'll have to.
We're just trying to avoid that
because,
3-month delay.
Look, I agree with you. I asked Sid, said, for example, he thought that but first off, the program is very successful. And second off, he thought, I said, well, what's the estimate? He said, probably saved 1,000 cats from, being born as a result.
At least.
A result of the program. So we'll definitely look into it. And if Mike says he has the funds and the council's for it, we'll just go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think we even took a booth for Long Branch Day to promote it, and that's Saturday. So that would be really horrible if we tell them to come back in January. So please, anything you can do to get it moving as soon as possible would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Avery Grant, 405 Atlantic Avenue. I'm here to encourage you, and I've spoken to a couple of you about the Summer Youth Employment Program, and I brought an article from East Orange last week's program talking about their program. When I was their city engineer and director of public works, I would get 100 high school students to work for me for 4 hours, and they would get paid. And the city would get 250 employees, and the funding would come from state and county. So I would encourage you to look for that because there's a lot of money out that you can get. I built 3 swimming pools with federal and county money, and I put them to work with the parks maintenance, street, even showed them how to push a street broom. I got out there with them. And you can imagine what that does for the program, for the students. And then they have a winter program called the Youth Employment Training Program. And I would get only about 20 there, but I would place them with our administrative people. So I would encourage you to get your planning people to look at it. There's a lot of money floating around. I don't know if it's still floating as it was before, but if you don't look for it, you won't get it. And I would encourage you to do that. And also to work with the county. We tried to get a swimming pool at 7 Presidents Park, but I got there too late. They had promised it to Fox Hill in Oceanport, but they never built that. But at least 2 weeks ago, we were working on the homeless shelter, and they're doing that. I wish they were larger. But what I'm saying to you, and I mentioned it before, develop a dream book and then began to work towards it because things can happen. And I know that we're in a very positive attitude with the new mayor and the council, and I congratulate you on that. And I think there are people out here who are willing to work with you. So I would encourage you, and I'd be happy to work with you too if there's anything I can do. So please consider that. And lastly, on a kind of negative point, with the beach, I was told we get people, students and young people from out of town. I think we should consider that our people are first. So I would think you should consider that. Because again, in the school system, we have the work opportunity program where we train the kids and we get jobs with some of our business people here. It's important because you teach them to put their mind and set to how to work, how to be on time, how to follow instructions, how to work as a team. And I think you'll see the dividends are very high. So again, I said I'd be willing to work where I can with you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Avery, that was a very good interest, because I was thinking about that last week.
Okay.
That
I'll leave this
I
with
was
you.
going to talk to Danny about doing something with the kids in high school, getting them into be certified lifeguards instead of bringing the kids outside. I was thinking, you read my mind. I was really thinking about talking to Danny about that. And
Let's
that's
look
something
at a
that I'm,
pool, too.
that's
We
something
built
I'm
these
really,
small pools here,
yeah,
but that's
because
not a good
it's
enough
got the
for
kids in
pay.
high school that you can work with.
Well, thank
You know what I
you.
mean? And we're definitely gonna talk about that.
And that's why
Thank
I'm
you.
saying the mayor and council, you're putting forward a positive image. So let's keep it up, because you got a lot of people here to go work with you. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Michelle Gangemi. I live at 14 Grove Avenue in Elberon. I'm aware this is a new administration.
You've got to push the mic closer to you.
Well, I'll just talk louder.
No, you can't hear it on the TV.
Having said that, I'm aware that you're all new. This is the second time that I've been here for the same reason, to discuss the no parking signs that have been put up Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. My family home has been, or my home has been in my family since 1976. Many years ago, neighbors had issues with the college students parking on the street. This is not and has not been an issue for years, yet the signs remained. I was told to have my neighbors sign a petition if they wanted the signs removed. People either said they had no problem with it or they had asked their husbands. This may all seem very petty considering the state of the world today. However, I resented having my daughter, who was visiting from Ireland, get ticketed at 8:05 in the morning. Common courtesy to me would have been if the officer knocked on the door. Or the rookie who ticketed my car, which was parked in my driveway, because he said there wasn't enough gravel in it. And then told me I should be thankful that the other cars were not ticketed as they were on the grass. I'm not an ignorant person, nor is my property a junkyard. I don't park on the lawn. This necessitated my going to court, where the judge said maybe I should get rid of some cars. I have 2 daughters who visit from school, and parents and a sister. There's no abundance of cars coming to my house. I was told to call the police if someone needed to park in the street. I was also told to inform the police how long and when my parents would visit. Their visits are not scheduled. I did not need this insult or stress. This is not grade school where tattling goes on. I mind my business, I pay my bills, I maintain my property. It appeared the neighbors who had parking issues happened to literally park on the grass, had numerous cars parked in the street for all of their children, yet nobody on that block ever got a ticket. I was a little suspicious, but I'm not terribly paranoid yet. The previous administration agreed to remove the signs, the restriction during the summer months. It worked out well for me. It allowed my family and friends to come at will and join my pool, enjoy the summer. Residents took full advantage based on the number of personal cars parked at all of their houses. My understanding is that this has to be changed by a new ordinance. I was also told that neighbors complained about cars parked in the street. They were cars that belonged to the people that lived in those homes, not strangers, and it is the summer. It was the summer. Consequently, the signs were reposted just last week. The situation is out of hand and an infringement on my rights to a peaceful existence. It causes me undue stress. Burke Avenue has 13 houses on it. 5 of them are vacant and have been vacant for a very long time. I'm one of the few people that's home all the time. I know and see what is going on. People either work, go south for the winter, or the retirees get second jobs. The point being that the complainers are not even there during the day. So I'm respectfully asking that an ordinance banning parking permanently be written on the books. Thank you.
Mr. Gangemi, can you stay after the meeting? I'd like to talk with you, if you don't mind, with the business administrator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you stay?
Is there anyone else?
Request 1 minute's notification, Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. Back in January, NJ.com ran an article entitled "The 35 Poorest Towns in New Jersey." Out of 565 municipalities in this state, Long Branch ranked the 30th poorest town in the state. 17.1% of the population is living below the poverty level. We have a destabilized tax base. We started a redevelopment back in 2005. What has the city accomplished? You did a paintbrush on the ocean front, and the rest of the city is struggling. The Asbury Park Press ran an article August 17, 2018. Quote, "Kushner buys more Long Branch beachfront property." In the article, they talk about Extel Kushner and a $2,750,000 condo that went for sale in Pier Village. 100 of these condos were sold during Team Pallone's campaign during the election. Team Pallone referenced the tax abatements as a major issue, despite the fact that Mr. Pallone and Ms. Sully voted for those abatements, campaigned on an issue about them, and after being elected refused to rescind them. One can view the election results as a referendum by the people on the fact that they don't want these abatements and they expected action, and that they are not in the best interest of the public good. And something that is not in the best interest of the public good can be addressed. Mr. Raynone says it's a contract that can't be undone. Contract that's not in the best interest of the public good can be broken. Problem is, if we break it, Kushner will sue the city. And he'll say, Pallone and Sully voted for it. And he'll use the line, Pallone and Sully, first you say you do, then you say you don't, then you say you will, and then you say you won't. On the Board of Education, one of the last meetings prior to the May 8th election, board member and board president, Mr. Dangler, stated at the end of the meeting he notified, with the support of all board members, area officials to address the matter of the tax abatements on the ocean front and how the Board of Education was affected by it. What's of interest right now is running for council, and after being elected, Mr. Dangler and Ms. Wittes are in a position to reverse course on those abatements and do justice to the Board of Education. However, they're hiding behind Team Pallone attorney Raynone and will not take action. One questions the credibility of Ms. Wittes and Mr. Dangler for being leaders on this matter or being followers. And at the present time, they're followers because they completely contradict right now their position on the Board of Education.
Mr. Lepore, you have 1 minute.
Of course. There was a fiduciary responsibility on the Board of Education to address these tax abatements. At the last Board of Education meeting, Dr. Salvatore stated, the number one issue right now in Trenton are these pilot tax abatements. My question to Ms. Wittes and Mr. Dangler, why are you not following through on your position with the Board of Education on the pilots and tax abatements, particularly the 30-year abatement for convicted felon Charles Kushner's Pier Village 3? Ms. Wittes?
I have no comment.
Mr. Dangler?
No comment, sir.
No comment. Mayor Pallone, why did Mayor of Jersey City, Fulop, pull out of a 30-year abatement with Kushner, and you didn't? What makes it different from Mayor Fulop with Kushner than with you?
Thank you, Mr. Lepore, your time is up.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Ernest McNolly, born in Long Branch, live in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I'd like to start by saying that it's rather uncomfortable to come here. A lot of the
Mr. McNolly,
people,
could you just raise the microphone a little bit? Thank you.
Sure. A lot of the people filming here are giving these actual real-time photos and films off to people who are doing what I allege criminal things with them. Someone in this meeting is recording the whole meeting, and they put it on my personal Google next to my work sites of just a piece of me speaking. And that's invasive, to say the least. I've complained to you about it. I've talked to you about it. I've emailed you things with profanity, sexual comments about the mayor, about Senator Gopal, about Assemblywoman Downey, et cetera, et cetera. I've identified the individuals. They work for the city, mostly firemen and police. I've given you names, Thomas Siciliano III. I haven't heard from anybody. There was also a melee that involved these same people at the Deal Country Club, 7/21/18. This is the police report. It involved drunk firemen and police brawling and beating up a woman. Here's the police report. I sent it to Mr. Rydell of the press. They won't print it. They won't print the story. They won't run the story. The link won't run it. No one will run it. It involves Long Branch firemen, police. A police officer was arrested from Asbury. A lot of the people involved were the ones that were involved in the Pascucci case, the passenger in Pascucci's car. The fireman was the person who got married at this wedding. So now they're at the Deal Country Club having a riotous brawl, beating up women, drunk. Some of them may have come in unmarked police cars and fire vehicles. And here's the report, and no newspaper will cover it. So, and I sent it to you. I sent it to everybody. Doesn't anybody want to talk about this? Or do they get a different treatment? That's what everyone's alleging. Long Branch police officer detective got special treatment for killing the state trooper's aunt. He only got 364 days in a county jail. I mean, the state and the country are up in arms about this. And this is his best drinking friend, who's continued to drink. He's a fireman. They're firemen. They're drinking at the Holy Smoke Cigar Club in my church. I've asked for years that somebody do something. Well, what do? You have Frank Musi, who runs the property, allow them to be in there 24/7. They were in there this past weekend, through all hours of the night, sending pictures of liquor, talking about bringing in Monmouth University girls, etc. And Frank Musi says, it's just a friendly cigar club. Friendly cigar club? Okay. Last week you also mentioned that you didn't really know how the city manager was picked. Well, I come to find out that Frank Musi is a little closer to the new administration than a lot of us would like. As a matter of fact, he may have been on the search committee. He was an Eatontown police officer. He went on to be the police chief of Monmouth University. He went on to be the public safety director in Long Branch and the city business administrator. And of course, how far does he look? Right back to Eatontown. And no voice about who you picked, but someone asked you, why don't you look at someone fresh? And you said, well, we are. But at that comment time, you had already signed the contract. Why wouldn't you just tell the person at the mic? It's already been decided. Frank Musi picked somebody. See? So my question is, things like this can't get in the press. People come up and ask questions. The last thing, I'm probably out of time, I have a criminal email that was sent to me alleging rape of a child by this city official, this fireman. Right? I sent it to you. I still don't hear from you. The only problem is when you go to the Long Branch court to try and sign a complaint against city employees, they tell you, we can't take that here. we have to send it to Freehold, and they all come back the same way. No probable cause. Really? Last question, another question. Did you ever figure out the door that you enter the chapel in, Mayor Pallone? Remember I asked you? Because everyone for Holy Smokes goes up the fire escape illegally. And you said, well, no, you go there for your Holy Name Society meetings. And I asked you, well, what door do you go in? And you said, oh, I forgot, but now do you remember which door you go in?
Thank you, Mr. McNolly.
Yeah,
Your
Mr.
time is up.
McNolly, I'm sorry, I'm very confused. I know what door I go in.
Which
and
one?
I mentioned that to
Which
you.
one? No, which one?
The front door.
There's four front
There's a
doors.
door
Which front
right
door?
on the side that leads right into the meeting room where the Holy Name Society
Okay,
meets.
okay. The front door on the side?
I can't tell you what's the front door. That is the entrance,
Do you-
the only entrance
The
that I
front
know.
door is 91 Chelsea Avenue, on Chelsea Avenue. It
No,
says
I
chapel.
don't go in the front door. I don't know that, but Mr. McNolly,
Okay.
I don't know that anybody goes in that door. I have only seen people in the years that I've been there go in the side door. If I made the mistake by calling it the front door instead of the side door,
No.
I apologize
All right.
to you. It's the door that I and everyone else, as far as I know, always go in. I mentioned to you that I've since been told and had heard that there's a Holy Smokes club up there, whatever it is, that's unrelated to the Holy Name Society that I am a member of. I have never been upstairs. I don't know what door they go in.
Well,
I think I made
you know-
that clear, so I don't know if you're trying to confuse
No,
the
I'm not, sir.
situation here.
Mayor,
I'm being very honest with you, sir.
Mayor, I'm being honest too. I'm not trying to confuse you.
Yeah.
Do you enter by the door that says Knights of Columbus on it, on the porch?
I have not looked at the sign, Mr. McNolly. I go, it's at night. They have a meeting every other month, and I go into the door that everyone goes in for years. I have not been in the front of the house, so I don't know if that door is used or not. I only go into the meeting room where the Holy Name Society
Mayor, with all due respect,
meets.
all I'm asking
Yes.
is what door you enter, and I'm sure he's saying, end the conversation. But at one point, you will tell me the door. I think if I
I'm
keep
sorry,
coming
what?
back, if I keep coming back every 2 weeks and asking you which door, eventually you'll tell me it's the one that says Knights of Columbus on it, on the porch.
I will make sure that the next time I go in that door, I will see if that's the Knights of Columbus door. But you may be asking me the same question, but my answer is the same, sir. It's the same door that seemingly everyone enters that I
I'm
know
aware of that, and I'm advocating for you
Holy Name
because,
Society,
Mayor, I know
that is
that,
where they meet. It is the only time I have been in that building, sir.
Mayor,
I tell you.
I'm only trying to show that you enter the building legally. Holy Smoke Cigar Club enters by the fire escape, which is illegal. If you can tell me at a meeting the door you enter, which I know is legally, it's going to be in contrast to how the Holy Smokes people and city officials, police and firemen enter that building, which Mr. Martin can tell you because
Mr.
he's a
McNolly,
member.
your time is up.
Thank you, I
wanted to
appreciate it,
extend the
Mayor.
courtesy of answering your question again, and I hope I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? I need a motion to close the public participation portion of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're at the resolutions. We can take the listed resolutions as a consent agenda with the exception of R 215-18, R 219-18, R 227-18, R 228-18, and R 229-18, which will be removed. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt? Yes. Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes. Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask our city council if you have any comments. Mr. Dangler?
Yes. I know that we're trying to be, courteous and fair to all of the residents, but we have to figure out a way to respond within the 5 minutes. So those who stop in the middle of their presentation, if you will, or question, don't feel like we're playing favoritism. So I don't know how we do it, but we need to avoid the problem of appearing that we're choosing who to answer and who not, who to cut off at 5 minutes and who not to. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Vieira?
I want to thank everybody for coming, and that's it. Nice and light today.
Dr. Root?
So thank you also for coming. I want to tell you about a moment of what I consider to be Long Branch pride since the last 2 weeks since we saw each other. And it actually is picking up on your comment, Anita, about accessibility. For those of you that had the privilege of going to the accessible beach party that was sponsored by Motions, it was 2 Sundays ago. And it was one of the most heartwarming events to see some of our residents who have disabilities who said, for the first time in 18 years, for the first time in 25 years, for the first time in any period of time, that they were able to be on the beach. And the joy that they had, the beach was set up, it was right off Pier Village, and our thanks to all of the city employees. I don't want to start naming because you always, miss somebody. But the folks who set it up did a spectacular job working with Motions. Those blue mats were set up so people could go right down on the beach. There was a stage, there was a band, there was food. It was totally joyous. It started a conversation of how do we improve the accessibility of the beaches in Long Branch so that we might be a model for the Jersey Shore of being able to say, Long Branch is all inclusive. We look at to serve all of our residents the best way that we possibly can. It's a continuing effort. One of the first things that has happened is we actually had somebody donate a beach wheelchair with those great big tires, donate it to Motions and to the city as one of the first things that's starting in this effort. So it truly was a moment of Long Branch pride that I think we can all feel real good about.
Thank you. Dr. Selly?
I have 3 things I'd like to say this evening. And first of all, Patty, you are here. This was the ramp, the railing that was built for somebody like me who can get up on the dais. It was already in the work when you came up and suggested a ramp. But to the director of, where is he, Stan? I have named the board there Marvin, after the young man who made it. So if you notice, it's very, it goes with the decor of the dais, okay? So, and I thank him for that, please. The second thing I'd like to say for all of you that came to the Columbus Day Parade, we had a great day, and we certainly had a nice parade, and it was nice to see all of you. And the third thing, I'd like to invite all of you on Saturday, October 13th, over here in Slocum Park, for our first ever Long Branch Community Day. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
And Mayor Sloan?
I would just like to thank everyone for coming this evening and for all of your comments. Thank you and have a great week.
And I'd like to also thank everyone for coming this evening, and just wanted to let you know we still have 2 openings for the Cable Commission. So if anyone is interested in, applying for that, please send your resume in to Kathy Schultz. It would be very much appreciated. And with that, thank you for coming. I'm sorry we delayed the meeting, but thank you.
Adjourn.
I need a motion. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Thank you.
I don't know.